This is who you're letting get away with it. But it gets worse, guys. It really does get worse. Taking the propaganda of an actual shooter and using it in the way the shooter intended. No, don't tell them to stop. Don't tell them to stop. Nux, what are you? Like, you're a straight up fucking enemy of, like, civil society. So if Nux ever gets sued, I'll be laughing my fucking ass off. Especially when he has to put his name on the record. Just, like, totally making shit up. Immediately click on Nux video, immediately lying. Crazy. NuxTaku is probably single-handedly responsible for more transitions than the entire Democratic Party. So, guys, I've been promising Nux Tent for several days. And we're finally going to get onto it now. Okay? We're finally going to get onto it. So, Nux has obviously been on, like, one of the most absurd, like, arcs in his career. Where he obviously got known for doing porn reviews. For doing porn reactions on YouTube. He would just get other YouTubers to show up and basically just watch, like, lolicon anime, harem anime, whatever it is, and react to it in these videos. And he has somehow shifted from that to being like the unloved cousin of fucking HoloLive or VShojo or whatever that shit's called. Yeah, Parry's banned from Discord and chat, yeah. I'm funny fucking loser. He's like the unloved cousin of HoloLive or VShojo or whatever group it was. Where he was like, he almost seemed like desperate to be in the group. But then he fucked it all up with this like totally retarded video that for some reason Turkey Tom swept for and that. What's that guy's name? Royalties here or something? Total moron as well. Even dumber than Turkey Tom somehow. Totally swept for this whole like doxing situation where Nux claimed to have basically double bluffed this swatter and doxer who was going around sending phishing emails to members of VShojo or HoloLive. I don't remember which org it was. Whichever one shut down recently. Whichever one that was. I'm not a VTuber guy really, so not intimately familiar with all the names. VShojo, thank you. So VShojo. And basically, he just totally, he totally fucked that whole situation up. He released a video bragging about how the guy was on the way to prison before he had any confirmation of that. The guy released videos after Nux's initial video, mocking Nux and VShojo. It was just a complete shit show. And Mutahar was involved in that behind the scenes as well. And obviously, Mutahar and Nux have had a very rocky relationship where Mutahar keeps bowing to public pressure to disavow Nux and then going back on it when Nux talks to him in private and says, "No, I swear I'm not a pedophile. I promise I'm not like a genocidal pedophile. I promise, I promise." And then you look at his Twitter and it's like, you know, the most genocidal pedophilic shit you've ever seen. Which we're going to be talking about here. We're going to be talking about that and his YouTube content. Because, like I say, he's gone this insane arc where he's gone from degenerate anime reviewer who does, like, reactions to porn of cartoon children to being, like, trad conservative. Like, he's trying to do... I think he's trying to do the whole Judeo-Christian values thing right now. Because, obviously, he's not Christian. He's a Jew. But he wants to be part of the club. He wants to feel like he's part of the Charlie Kirk club, part of the MAGA club, part of the Fuentes club. A lot of that going on right now. Desperately trying to fit in with the sort of Groiper type crowd. Tectone doing the same as well. And I want to just look at like some of the clips that have come out of Nux's videos recently and just talk about them because, and some of the tweets he's made as well, because it's just like totally insane. Obviously, we have done this many times before. Now, do we have... So I've only got my upload of this. But obviously people will know. And this is what this all comes down to, really. Well, it's not what it all comes down to. There's a little bit more to it. But a lot of Nux's hatred of Hassan is obviously built out of the fact that allegedly Nux is Jewish. Allegedly Jewish. And allegedly had a family member, a cousin, I believe, die serving in the IDF on October 7th. That's his claim. That's his claim. Now, Nux obviously isn't public with his identity. And I don't like giving people who aren't, like, public and don't have verifiable facts about their life, I don't like giving them, like the sympathy, the charity of like, oh, this terrible thing happened to you. You know, I hate that they get to claim that without anyone being able to fact check it, if you know what I mean. Like, how do I know? You can just bring that out as a cudgel, being like, oh, my family died in October 7th. And no one can ever check you on it. No one can ever check you on it because you're a fucking VTuber. And it would require, like, doxing to do it. So I hate giving people that credit. But it is definitely born out of a heavy pro-Israel sentiment. And also, obviously, an intense jealousy. I think anyone that hates Hassan, even if you could hate Hassan as much as, you know, who hates Hassan the most? You could be like Destiny level hatred of Hassan. You could be like literally seething, spending all night, every night, you know, tense and fucking screaming about Hassan. And you could still accept that Nux is dumber than Hassan. Nux is more dishonest than Hassan. Nux only hates Hassan because of a mixture of being a massive pro-Israel shill. Probably being, well, we know being fat, both from his voice and his Anthony Padilla lack of face reveal appearance thing. And being an ugly fucking loser. That's basically why he hates Hassan. Is because he's like a fat, ugly loner who wasn't accepted into the streaming space, into VTubing. And Hassan is like a very popular, you know, attractive, well-respected guy. So he fucking hates that. And obviously the fact he's on the other side of the Israel stuff probably intensifies that a bunch. So I think pretty much anyone can agree on that. Now, Nux goes so far with this type of shit. He called up a Cheeto one time. A Cheeto was covering stuff. And a Cheeto was coming to the, you know, daring, insane position that maybe there's an argument for genocide in Gaza. Maybe Israel are committing a genocide. Maybe that's happening. Maybe this is like wrong. Maybe they're killing journalists, you know? These sorts of crazy ideas. And Nux came in to try and do some Hasbro here. So I don't know if we can find
like
anything
people
good
say
here
it happened in
quickly.
Chechnya and shit. And
Yeah, I'm
audacious political
Great
views,
stuff, man.
you know, and that's just what it is. And I think it is a good justification. I think if you look at someone and you look at their political views and how they use these views to connect with people, you can shit on them.
So I think
different countries that both have nuclear.
it's like, apparently this isn't very effective.
Yeah, but
6 million were killed, and right now there are 15 million Jews.
There's $16 million, $50 million. Is that true?
Look it up. Or maybe
So
maybe
yeah,
more, maybe
basically at this
16
point,
million
what he's
before.
saying is, well, how can there be a genocide when the Palestinian population isn't going down, or whatever the fuck the argument is? Or why isn't he wiped them all out? Why haven't they wiped them all out yet? So just the lamest arguments that obviously day one, anyone that's spoken about this before has gone through. Like obviously just because the number isn't going down doesn't necessarily mean that there isn't a genocide, because genocide is an intentional act designed to eliminate or in whole or in part a group of people. So if you're trying to eliminate in part, that wouldn't necessarily be reducing the population, but it would be a genocide. So it really does not do anything to rebut the point, you know. And these are literally day one, like Israel shill talking points. Like if you were out there shilling Israel, this is like the most remedial. Like you would never hear a competent Israel shill say this. You would never hear an actually competent Israel shill try and say, "Oh well, they haven't killed them all yet." You would never hear that from anyone who's competent with these talking points. Obviously, like, you know, legit, watch any like Piers Morgan. Only the most retarded like Zio shills are going to say that insane sort of shit. It's like totally crazy. Which means he's doing this for free, exactly. Which means he's untrained and doing this for free. Yes, very true. So this was months ago, though. This was months ago. Nux has progressed from this point, okay? This is kind of mild compared to where Nux is at now. Now, he's always been a dishonest, fucking, wretched liar and one of the dumbest people alive, even as far back as all that V Shoujo drama. But it is reaching new levels. And I want to just, so let's do a little intro to Nux here. He wrote this intro to Hassan. I suppose I'll read this out. Just for, you know, fairness. This is where this little bit starts here. Okay, I've been saying something as well. We'll see. So, Nux says, meet Hassan Piker, animal activist that abuses his dog. communist in a $3 million mansion, designer clothes, and a $300,000 Porsche. Pro-Palestine that doesn't want Hamas to surrender and end the war. Anti-fascist that supports radical Islamic tyrants. Anti-colonialist that supports Islamic expansionism. Free speech advocate that supports terror organizations that execute people for speaking against them. Anti-misogynist that went to Diddy parties in a brothel in Germany, and a brothel in Germany that had sex trafficked a child. I don't even like this is again like a retired. The brothel didn't sex traffic a child. A football player sex trafficked a child at a brothel, but whatever. Anti-violence but supports political assassinations. Anti-racist that hates all white people and Jews. Wow, all white people and Jews. I think the only case you can make is that Hassan might hate Israelis. He might have a resentment towards Israelis on the whole. Jews, I don't think there's a good argument for it, and there's certainly not a good argument for all white people. That's fucking crazy. Literally fucking crazy. Hassan is basically white. Let's be serious here. So anyway, there's a Nicandros tweet here. Now Nicandros is like Turbo Nox A-Log. So I assume this video is good. I haven't actually watched this video yet. I saw it on my feed and I didn't actually watch it. So I bookmarked it without seeing it. Let's see. What's he got to say here? So meet NuxTaku, an ugly pedophile who is running a 16+ Discord server with not safe for work channels in it in 2022. So this is an ugly pedophile who was running a 16+ as age limit, so minimum age 16 Discord server where they're posting porn in 2022. Not even back in 2015 or anything. I said 2022 though, didn't I? 2022. 2022. Back in 2022. Anyway, I totally fucked that up. Not even back in 2015. Where this shit was like kind of like not spoken about as much. It was sort of like Discord was kind of new. You know, there weren't like these huge standards that were spoken about broadly. Where there were like, you know, everyone... You know, there was sort of like a time as the internet grew up, I think, over like the 2000s and 2010s, where sort of like new standards were sort of like introduced. It started sort of like, you know, social media was like a fucking free-for-all. And then they started age-gating more stuff. And then there were more sort of like social standards about like mixing age groups in communities. And I feel like by 2022... we're at a point where it was not acceptable. Like, everyone knew what Discord was, the risks of grooming on Discord, the risks of grooming, you know, the increased risks of grooming when you introduce sexual topics and not safe for work imagery or whatever into areas where there are mixed age groups. We were all, I feel like, pretty aware of this by 2022. That's quite late. You know, that's quite late. So there isn't really an excuse. I don't think there is really an excuse for this shit. You should have had that locked down. You should have been on top of that kind of thing. Like, maybe it's a holdover. Maybe you set up your Discord a long time ago and it still had those channels. But it's the sort of thing you should absolutely be on top of and proactive about by that point. Like, the standards were such that I expect you in 2022 to know better. You know? Despite this history, he was willing to grandstand over Chris Tyson for running a Discord with NSFW channels in 2018/2019. So far earlier than Nux had his. Let's see this. What's this?
To go back to the whole like Ava Tyson shit, 500,000 messages ended up coming out. A lot of it involves like minor.
Completely banned from stream and chat, and he couldn't even get his mid-Coinbase jacket joke off. Bit rude in it.
Yep. Thank you for the $5, Jimbley. Thank you.
Being in a Discord server, and then like Chris, who's an adult, alongside some of his other adult friends, just openly talking about like hentai and shit, like to the point where they have like bots in the Discord server.
Oh,
with
well,
minors
Nux
present.
would never do
Apparently.
that.
There's like NSFW channels.
Maybe they didn't know people were underage, or like they just weren't thinking about it and they weren't intentionally trying
Bro,
to do it.
Lava
If we're
was a
giving people the
mod,
benefit of
and
the
Lava
doubt.
was 13 years old. What
Oh,
are you doing?
yeah.
Are you pulling a sneak on us
Dude,
right now?
I opened a public Discord server. I swore to myself I would never do it because the degeneracy would be too much, and the degeneracy is already too much. 16 or older, though, please?
16 or older, though, please? I'm scared for you.
So the only thing they would try and claim here is that these are age gated. These are age gated. We set the thing to be 18 plus, but obviously every kid has made a Discord account that says they're 18 plus but they've marked the servers, the channels NSFW. Obviously every kid is going to have their Discord account as 18 plus, and you've advertised it as 16 plus, so it's like retarded to try and get around that, to be honest.
16.
I opened.
What am I seeing there?
Please,
16.
please.
Yeah, he's got a hentai, NSFW memes, NSFW chat, NSFW.
16 or older, though, please. I'm scared for you and your childhood if you join and you're younger, okay?
Right. Right. Okay, Nux. So this is your anti-degeneracy guy. This is your Christian values enjoyer. This is your conservative. This is who you're letting get away with it. But it gets worse, guys. It really does get worse. So obviously we had this. I believe I've already shown this on stream.
So just a month or two ago that the Democratic lawmakers were shot, and that was like...
The Democratic lawmakers were shot by a lefty! Why are we doing this game every single time? Is this a teacher? Someone chat said she's a teacher. Oh my god! Stop! The Democratic lawmakers were shot by a Tim Walz appointee who literally wrote in the manifesto it's not because of Trump.
So just a month or two...
So this is about the killing of Melissa Hortman. So Nux is actually outright using... So not only... This might seem like, you know, kind of bad on the face of it if you know the story. But obviously Nux is totally wrong here. It was not a Tim Walz appointee. Someone who was appointed by Tim Walz hired this guy at one point. Now, what else was there? So, and he wasn't killing them. So he was a Republican, basically. He was a Republican. I've got it here. Joseph H. Thompson, the acting U.S. attorney for the District of Minnesota, told reporters on Monday that officials had recovered hundreds of pages of the suspect's writing across multiple notebooks that were full of plans, lists of names, surveillance efforts, and the home addresses and family members' relationships of these elected officials. The elected officials he targeted were all Democrats, Mr. Thompson said. Abortion rights advocates were also among those mentioned in the list of names. So, this was a Republican targeting Democrats and anti-abortion people. Now, he had in his car some, like, No Kings flyers, and he wrote that Tim Walz told him to do this. So, Nux is not just lying about the nature of political violence, okay? That's not the only thing he's doing here. Nux is actively taking the propaganda of an actual shooter and using it in the way the shooter intended. He's like, straight up, it's like literally like, you're collaborating with the dead shooter. You are, like, how do you cry about Hassan being pro-terrorism or whatever the fuck that means when he's talking about supporting a blockade in the fucking Red Sea or whatever? Like, the idea that that's fucking, you're supporting terrorism. Oh, you said 10 toes down, supporting the Houthis. When you will literally do the work of fucking shooters. You will do the work of political shooters for them. You will go out there. You will say, if a Republican goes and shoots a bunch of Democrats, you will go and read their manifesto, go, oh, what do they want me to say about this? What does this shooter who shot a bunch of people want me to say about this? And then you'll go and say it. You'll go and do that work for them. It's some of the most disgusting behavior going. Truly. This guy is subhuman. And people will let him get away with it. People will let him get... He's one of the most dishonest, despicable fucking people going on this platform right now. It gets even worse, guys. It gets even worse. This is nowhere near the worst thing here.
In the end times. And like we are in the end times.
So Nick Andrew says here, one of the problems with doing a video about NuxTaku is that there's just so much ammo that it's hard to put it all together. He literally does not believe anything. He will say anything to make money. He's a complete amoral psychopath. So, the thing is, he's not even like an amoral psychopath. It's like, he's a... You can picture it, right? Build the mental image in your mind. This is some fat, ugly fucking loser. So picture that, first of all. Fat, ugly fucking loser. He was probably like, I believe he was in like his mid-20s when he started YouTube. So he's probably like 30 or early 30s now. So he's like 23 when he starts YouTube. He's this fat, ugly fucking loser who's never had anything going for him. Total just fucking pig. Bullied his whole fucking life. You know, probably, I don't even know if he's a graduate. I don't know if he's got like a degree or anything. So it was probably kind of going nowhere before this. Fat, ugly fucking loser. Probably either never had a girlfriend or had like one girlfriend soon after high school or in high school. Fat, ugly fucking loser. Sat there alone. No real friends. No partner. Nothing like that. Watching anime all day, every day. And he comes up with this idea. He sees all these VTubers and he loves them so much. He thinks they're so awesome. He thinks it's so cute and funny the way that it feels like you're talking to a real girl but on Twitch. And he decides, oh, I should try that. I should try that. I should try that. Oh, my real voice sounds so stupid though. I don't like my real voice. So I think I should put on like a fake voice, like a kind of ironic voice. Because that way maybe like I can't get mocked for it. Maybe I can't get mocked for it. Because then, like, it seems like a joke. So, like, people can't mock me for how grating and unlikable my fucking voice is. It makes me, like, you know, how disgusting my fucking voice is. People can't mock me for it because I'm doing, like, an ironic voice. So, it's like a shield. So, I'm going to do that. So, I'm going to hide behind stolen fan art of human Twink Sans from Undertale. Like, a character that looks like a child, a skinny little child, as, like, a fat, fucking ugly retard. And I'm going to do a fake voice to avoid being mocked. Because I've been bullied my whole life. And I just can't fucking take it anymore. I can't go online and take this too. So this is the picture we're building up. So then it takes off. It goes crazy. It goes crazy. And he's doing all these porn reactions with YouTubers. He's on top of the world. But then everything falls apart with V Shoujo. You know, he's like totally casted out. He's totally alienated. He's stuck with Mutaha. He's stuck on the Some Ordinary podcast. You know, in the depths. He doesn't get to be the cool anime guy. He doesn't get to, you know, have the adoring teenage fans, you know, that he's always wanted. He doesn't get that anymore. Because he's stuck with Mutaha. He's stuck with tech support. He's stuck with the engineer. The engineer from TF2. And, it's miserable. It's just totally miserable because he sees the VTubers having so much fun and blowing up and being in this environment where they all get to collab. He sees, you know, Sea-Dog VA collabing with Iron Mouse and everyone making shipping clips about them. And he's like, it should have been me. No, it should have been me, not him. It's like Nux watching Sea-Dog VA like flirt with Iron Lung, like in all these shipping clips, you know. And it drives him fucking crazy. So what can he do? What can he do but just become like this bitter, resentful, fucking like incel shooter archetype where he's like the type of guy, he like, you know, the persona now is basically going into the V Shoujo offices. That's like basically Nux's persona now, where it's like, oh, all these guys are so lefty and like they're also, you know, LGBT and nice to each other, tenderqueer, like sort of thing. Now I've got to be a Nazi. Now I've just got to go post Nazi shit. Like, it's literally like, you know, they don't understand what I post on Twitter. You know, they think I'm the villain. That's the type of shit that Nux thinks of. You know, so he just is like purely based on resentful bitterness. Yeah, like exactly like Tectone, because they're shut out of the mainstream streamer group that they wish they were involved in. They become this like resentful, like they have to be like a Nazi, basically. They have to be a Nazi because the way they see it, the women, the roasties, the gays, fuck them over. They fucked them over. They made it so they can't hang out with the cool kids. So they have to be destroyed. That's how they think of it. I'm telling you. This is like a soul read that I'm convinced of. Yeah, a massive soul read I'm convinced of. Seeing past this guy's fucking avatar. I'm pretty convinced of it. I think the avatar sells it more, in fact. The fact that he's like trying to LARP as a twink when he's like a fat dude. It's kind of gross. It's very gross.
And it is time. You know, we got to stand up and fight for God, because we were living in a world of like unbelievable hedonism that just kept ramping up higher and higher and higher, you know, higher and higher, more and more hedonism and secularism, and it completely took over. And this is an unbelievable conversation that's being had right now. So
for those who don't know, this is Nux doing a reaction to, I don't know if you guys know this, it's the called the Unca dance. Do we know about this? The Unca dance. This is an Animal Crossing meme where some porn artist drew an animation of this character from Animal Crossing, the Switch one. That's like a Sphinx character. It's like a cat Sphinx thing. And people thought it was hot. And this person drew an animation of it getting fucked by the villager. And the people would crop the like animation of this cat character riding on the villager's dick and like pretend it was like a dance, basically, is my understanding. Because I guess the music is kind of like, you know, the music's kind of epic. So I think it just caught on. It just sort of caught on. Now, Nux covered this. Nux covered this and reacted to it. And he's like barely censoring it. He just like waves his avatar's head around in front of like where the dick would be. And he posts that on his YouTube channel to his teenage audience. Which obviously, you know, if you care about the Shadman stuff or anything like that, obviously, you know, posting just like barely censored porn to your audience of teenagers that you've cultivated over many years, you would think you'd be against that, but apparently not. Apparently Nux wasn't. Apparently Nux wasn't at all. And not just that, but did he do reactions to the people imitating it? Because it became a TikTok trend where people, some underage, you know, like minors doing this, would like imitate the dance. They would imitate the dance, but obviously it's not a dance. It's like someone riding on dick. So there would end up being like minors like posting TikToks themselves imitating this animation. I believe Nux reacted to some of those videos in this thing.
Right.
Yeah, he did.
So if you happen to see any kids on your For You page doing this dance, please nicely encourage them to stop.
Nicely encourage them to stop is just sending hate mobs in nicer words. All right, Mr. Noah, I don't know you, and you seem like a decent man. John 3:16.
No, don't tell them to stop. Don't tell them to stop.
This
Nux,
dude,
what are you?
absolute legend. I didn't even notice that before. Don't quote Bible verses in your bio, dude. What?
Oh.
John 3:16 is. For God so loved the world that he gave his own forgotten son, that whoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. Alright, gamers. Yeah, alright. If I see that in the bio, I'm gonna... Alright, dude.
Wow, this guy's very dismissive of religion. This guy's very dismissive of religion and religious attitudes towards, like, degeneracy. It seems like, huh? That's the sense I'm getting. Oh, wait, what's this? What's this? So Nux posted this as a quote tweet to Not So Erudite, okay? Not So Erudite tweeting it. Name one Christian value Trump is currently fighting for. Stupid question to ask, because obviously you can easily name values that, like, you know, you can easily say, oh, well, he made it so Roe v. Wade could be overturned or some shit, and then that way he stopped abortion. I don't know, man. There's a million arguments you can fucking make for this. There's a million arguments you can make for this. But Nux just answers this question, okay? So, questions about Christian values. Now, Judaism and Christianity have a lot in common. But they also have a lot that's not in common. The values don't quite align, right? They have like a you know, a collection of books that's the same as like you know, the Old Testament. The Old Testament, that sort of like, you know, they have that in common. But I mean, past that, the values are actually quite different, aren't they? Like, Judaism is like very much like, it's built on ideas of like law and like very close following of wording and scripture. Christianity is about faith. It's about having, you know, giving yourself over to this to Jesus and looking for salvation for anything you might have done wrong. Whereas Judaism is a bit more, it's like a bit more like strict. I don't want to say it's like more strict, but it's like a bit more strict. It's like meant to be more about, you know, it's a very like I don't know how you'd say, like textual religion, from my understanding. And it is, they do, yeah, like it's about studying and shit. It's like it is very different, and the values do end up being quite different. Obviously some basic stuff in common. You shouldn't just go around killing people, you know. But there are actually quite a lot of difference, especially if you start looking into, like, you know, like the Talmud. Like, that probably disagrees with the Bible quite a bit. Obviously, that's not, so it's oral law that was collected over time. It's not like the same as just like a holy, like, but there's differences. You don't really find the same things from Christians. Anyway, not the point. The real thing here is that Nux decides that he wants to chime in and talk about Christianity by responding to this question in the most Jewish way possible, by just machine gunning a bunch of poorly interpreted Old Testament verses that like barely support what he's saying. Like, this is just God making man and woman. And then there's the one for gun rights is literally just like, oh yeah, it's not murder if you are defending your home. That's not gun rights. It's not about gun rights. The idea that you got gun rights, like like the Bible's explicitly in favor of gun rights from that is like absurd. But yeah, it's just like totally retarded, total bastardization of all these verses. And just a very Jewish response, just incredibly Jewish response. And I can say that, guys. I'm allowed to say that. I've got the pass. I'm allowed to say that. Now, I want to wait. I really want to save the best one until last here right now. So, he says, Hamas terrorists murdered over 60 Israeli-owned family dogs on October 7th, 2023, including shooting them and beheading them. Hassan Piker supports the Hamas terrorists as moral resistance fighters. So he doesn't say that. He doesn't say that. Fighting Western imperialism. Are we really surprised here? So what should we assume you do to dogs? Nux, what should we assume you do to... How many thousands of dogs have Israel killed in their war in Gaza, do we think? How many thousands of dogs do you think they've killed in Gaza? So what can we determine about Nux from this? Like, yeah, they're always just... We all know, like, Israelis would never do anything like beheading dogs or, you know, causing needless suffering or defacing corpses or anything crazy like that. Israelis just aren't about that sort of thing. The IDF just never, they don't fuck around in war zone. They're like, it's like business, exclusively business. They're there to achieve military objectives and get out. Minimal civilian casualties, no fucking around. That's what the IDF are about. Most moral army in the world. Most moral army in the world. That's what they're all about. Do you think he added owned family to the tweet after initially writing it as Hamas killed 60 Israeli dogs? Dude. So, guys, okay, this is where it really takes a turn. And this, if, you know, we've seen some pretty disgusting stuff from Nux before. Obviously, I think it's, I think, honestly, it is one of the most, like, you're a straight-up fucking enemy of, like, civil society. If you're a VTuber who hides his identity, hides his name, hides his face, who encourages the doxing and IRL harassment of other people. I think that's like it's gutter behavior. I think you should be like sued so hard you lose your fucking home. I think you should have any...
No one talks about the dog cost, and I for one am glad Nux is calling out the worst crimes of 10/7.
Thank you for the $4.99. I think any amount of the state or lawfare or whatever that can be brought down upon you should be. I think you should have your fucking life raked through the fucking dirt. I think you should be fucking miserable if you, as a VTuber who hides their identity, are calling for the doxing and harassing of normal working people, which he was. He was saying people making jokes about the Trump assassination attempt. Not even Charlie Kirk. Trump assassination attempt. He was saying Home Depot workers should be harassed at their jobs. Doxed and harassed at their jobs. That's what his take was. He had to walk it back. Nick Diorio pressed him, and he walked it back, which is like embarrassing. Like, you walked it back because Nick Diorio said something, really, bro? So he ended up walking it back, but it is like totally disgusting. Your entire life should be fucking dragged through the dirt. Literally, you should be miserable. You should be on the fucking brink. You should feel like you've just had, you know, a bankruptcy, a To Catch a Predator episode featuring you. You know, like every worst possible thing that could happen to fuck your life up for the foreseeable. It should feel like that times 10. That's how fucked up your life should feel after making calls to docs as a VTuber who hides their entire identity. That is like the level you're at. So any lawfare, any state punishment, anything like that could come down on someone like that, I think it's totally based. I think it's totally awesome. So if Nux ever gets sued, I'll be laughing my fucking ass off. Especially when he has to put his name on the record. So what have we got here? Oh yeah, wait, have I got the clip up? No, I haven't. Here it is. So yeah, someone replied to me with this. So he's watching an RFK hearing or whatever here. Let's see what he says.
We literally did worse than any country in the world. And the people at CDC who oversaw that process, who put masks on our children, who closed our schools, are the people who will be leaving.
Leaving? Fucking kill those motherfuckers! Leaving in a body bag! String them up Nuremberg style! They fucked a generation! Oh my god! Dude, I have people that work in... I have relatives that work in, like, as doctors. There were piles of bodies of people that got vaxxed. All right?
So this is worse than anything Hassan has ever said. You cannot find a Hassan clip that is this bad. This is like healthcare workers. It's like people at the CDC, people who are doing the research, people that were making a decision about lockdown, giving advice about lockdowns. This is like healthcare workers we go after. Not even landlords in like a jokey way. It's not even like a, you know, I'm referencing a slogan about landlords. It's not like, it is worse than anything. It is like an imminent sort of like, there could be, that these are people who are real people who could be targets of violence, who plenty of people would already want to target with violence, who like, there's this huge conspiracy schizophrenic audience that might want to target these people, and you are going for it. You are full send saying, yes, people should do that. So I feel like, honestly, this is the sort of thing you should get a YouTube strike for. Why has he not got a YouTube strike for this? You should get platform punishment for saying this stuff. 100%. 100% you should get platform punishment for saying this. No, not a doubt in my mind. And the idea this guy's out there, not only calling for Hassan to get platform punishment, but got state punishment, you're subhuman. You're subhuman. You deserve your life ruined. Channel taken away, sued into the dirt, home taken, whole family fucking ruined. Literally anything you've got, just take it away. Your whole life should be fucking ruined. Doing shit like this. Seriously. From behind a fucking VTuber, hiding your identity, you're gonna call for doxing, call for IRL harassment, and call for death. You're scum. You're scum. Seriously, man. It's like, this is the bottom of the, this is the lowest of the low. Like, fetishizes death, fetishizes suffering, resentful, bitter, ugly, fat old man, desperate to look young, desperate to be young, desperate to fit in with the fucking epic anime crowd, wishing he would get a fucking trash taste appearance. But you never will, because everyone sees you as you are, as a disgusting fucking subhuman, just worthless fucking wretch, who's just like in this miserable fucking situation that you're only gonna make worse for yourself. Because no, literally, this will blow over. Trump shit will blow over, and you're fucking raped after that. You're totally done. You're totally done. The moment this MAGA shit's done, all these clips are out there. Everyone knows what you were like. Everyone knows that you wanted CDC employees to be fucking killed. Everyone knows that you wanted people doxxed and harassed for their free speech. Everyone knows that, you know, I mean, you supported every fucking ICE on every step of the way. Everyone knows that you supported every single journalist killed by the Israelis. Everyone knows that you're excusing genocide till the last fucking moment. Everyone knows. It's all there, and that will follow you forever. You will never be in any of these like epic call groups. You know, you'll never be part of eShoujo. You'll never be on Trash Taste. You'll just live out the rest of your limited span of your dwindling YouTube career that you've had to completely pivot into politics to desperately try and stay alive. It will just dwindle, and eventually you'll be left in like a miserable fucking lowly spot where you're probably traveling to Thailand every few years for nondescript reasons, you know, on the brink in your fucking apartment, crying your fucking eyes out every other night. Like that's the level you're going to be at. And I can't fucking wait. I cannot wait. I truly cannot wait. But there's a follow-up here. So just to add on to that, this is what Nux said about friend of the show, Destiny.
Polina Luna, Representative Anna Polina Luna, who, as you can see, is wearing a sombrero, and her profile says, I have forwarded this to the FBI for investigation, inciting violence, murder. This guy is disturbed and unhinged, needs to be investigated. I actually agree. I think Hassan is worse than Destiny, but the craziest part is, what is going on? What is happening? Why are they so comfortable saying this? Why is the government doing nothing? But when you have you have the Democrats.
So now he's saying Destiny should have government persecution. Destiny should suffer government persecution too. Bear in mind, guys, Nux was such a big Destiny fan, he met up with Destiny for a meal when Destiny went to visit Israel. That's how much of a big Destiny fan this guy used to be. But now that there's no clout in it, now that Mutahar doesn't hang out with him as much, now there's no clout in it, no, now it's all bets are off. All bets are off. And as much as I don't like Destiny, you know, you just look at the backlog of my channel to see that. I will say that it still bothers me that you would suck up for the clout, go and fucking meet someone for a meal, and then the moment the like clout's all gone, when he's like totally fucking raped into the dirt, you're like, actually, and bear in mind, this isn't about the sex crime stuff. This is about the speech stuff, which Destiny was doing the exact same of. Like, you know, there's stuff where it's like, you can be forgiven for not thinking Destiny's like a woman abuser like 2 years ago or some shit, right? You can totally be forgiven for not thinking that. But you cannot be forgiven for not thinking that Destiny is happy to engage in violent rhetoric, support of violence, things that are close to violence. You know, you can't... No, that's been a feature of Destiny's content for the last 10, 15 years. So the idea that you weren't aware of that part, but you went and met up with this guy for a meal because you were such a big fan, patently absurd. It doesn't check out. It does not pass the fucking sniff test. It's like totally retarded.
Attorney General nominee saying that he wants to kill these people. You have streamers saying that they want to kill these people. You have convicts getting released and killing people. And yet no one does anything. Representative Anna Polina Luna.
So, let's see. We've got a few more here where he's just supporting some of the dumbest Trump shit ever.
He's like, why do federal agents wear masks?
So where's this from? A day ago.
It's not fair that federal agents wear masks. Well, you guys are literally running defense for terrorists that are putting bounties on their heads, where they are firebombing their houses, where they are assaulting their families when their actual information gets out. With all due respect, any leftoid that is running defense for the people that are anti-ICE, in my opinion, are actually running defense for domestic terrorists.
ICE officer house arson. ICE agents flee arson attack, 5th of August. So that wasn't their house, so that was an office. Yeah, I don't see any ICE officers' homes being burned down. There was an arson attack at an ICE office. So that's he just like totally made that up. Just like totally making shit up. Immediately click on Nux video, immediately lying. Crazy.
And they need to be brought up on terrorism charges too. At some point, I feel like we might be moving towards martial law, and I almost kind of feel like it's justified. I really do. It's insane. You can't operate a country this way. The American people elected Donald Trump to be the president of the United States of America primarily, and this is very clear, primarily because he wanted to deport illegal immigrants. Every single person that is going against ICE and going against Trump is anti-constitutional and an insurrectionist, and is directly going against the basic will of the American people.
So he won't call January 6th an insurrection, which, remember, okay, it's not just about the riot, okay, I understand some people, you know, I'm sure everyone in my chat understands this, but I'm sure some people may see this as like a video or something and may not be aware of this. Obviously, January 6th is not just about the people that showed up at the Capitol, Trump, with this lawyer called Eastman. There was like this thing called the Eastman memo that laid out exactly how they were going to do it. They set up a full slates of electors in 7 states, which would be these forms that name who the electors are, who go to the electoral college and submit the votes for the state, to change the electors from being the ones that were chosen by the state to be ones that were chosen for Trump, so that they could go in and elect Trump instead of Biden, despite the fact that Biden had won on the actual vote. So that's the insurrection of January 6th. Nux won't call that an insurrection, but he will call it an insurrection when, what? People say that you shouldn't station troops in their state without the state's permission, without an actual cause. Right. Okay. So this is the states' rights guys, by the way. This is conservatives, the ones that like all that states' rights. Small government, they want the executive to just be able to put troops in your city. So let's flip this for a moment. Let's skip a few years in the future and imagine a Democrats won. Let's say President Gavin Newsom is there. President Gavin Newsom and Vice President Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, okay? Let's skip a few years in the future. There are people in Texas who are protesting an abortion clinic because they think murder is happening there. They're protesting an abortion clinic and they think murder is happening there. And they're calling people murderers and they're saying, oh, you're a murderer, you're a murderer. I don't know if Texas, let's imagine Texas has a death penalty for murder. I'm imagining that. I don't know if that's true. I don't know. But that could be seen as like you're calling for their death, right? That's almost like calling someone a fascist, you know? Because some people think that fascism should be met with a bullet or a fist or whatever. So you're like calling for their death when you call them a fascist. So let's imagine in a few years, there's a bunch of anti-abortion people in Texas standing there causing problems for abortion doctors or whatever, and calling them murderers, inciting violence against them. And President Gavin Newsom, also Prime Minister, and President Gavin Newsom decides, no, that's it. Martial law. I'm sending in the National Guard. We're sending in the troops. Any of you insane Christian fundamentalists, you radical Christian fundamentalists, we need to wipe this radical Christian fundamentalism out of our society. We're going to round up all these radical Christian fundamentalists with the National Guard, and we're going to start persecuting radical Christian fundamentalists. Every aspect of our government has to be purged of radical Christian fundamentalists. How fucking crazy would Nux be going around, this is unconstitutional? That would be it. That would be what all these people saying. They'd be fucking screaming and crying. And they would be right. They'd be right. You shouldn't persecute people based on like their religious belief and shit like that. I understand people saying that sounds sick. But, you know, I'm firmly in the camp that you shouldn't just use the tactics, you know. Like, I heard Pisco talking about this the other day, actually. The idea that Dems will get in. And Nick Fuentes even was speaking about this on a podcast the other day. The idea that Dems are going to get in and do exactly what the Republicans have been doing back because they're so mad about it. It's just not fucking true. It's never fucking happened. It's never fucking happened. It's not happened at any point, at no point in my life. And you know, I'm only 26, let's be serious here. But at no point in my life do I remember a left-wing party getting into power and being like, no, we need to do the exact same thing back to them now. I don't remember that happening at any point anywhere. Thank you for the $5. Read your loud and clear on Nux situation chapter 1. Okay. Thank you for $5. So, yeah, I've never seen that anywhere. At all. So it's kind of absurd to me on the face of it. But there absolutely should be justice. There should be justice. People who have done things wrong as part of the administration should be tried, you know. That should happen. Anyone Trump, anyone around him, should be prosecuted to the fullest extent, you know. Stephen Miller, whoever. All these guys should get hit as hard as possible. For things they've done, obviously, for things they've done. But there shouldn't be political persecution. There shouldn't be like, oh, we've got to purge all of this from... No, it should be, if you've done something that is punishable, you should get got. Lock them up. Lock them up, okay? But yeah, the idea that Dems are just going to get in and do the same shit back just isn't true. But so that's why I feel even stupid sometimes, saying like, oh, well, imagine if a Dem was doing this. Imagine if a Dem does this in the future. Oh, what if a Dem does this? Like Ted Cruz is like, oh, you shouldn't give up power to the FCC because what if the Democrats use it? You know they're not going to. You know they're not going to, Ted. You know as well as everyone else that even though you can make whatever arguments about the Biden administration creating a climate in which social media companies felt the need to censor stuff that they requested even when it didn't break the TOS, there was never any actual coercion. There were never any actual threats. You know they didn't break the Constitution. You know that didn't happen. So you know Dems don't do this shit. You know it's just Trump. You know even old Republicans weren't really doing this shit as much. They would do a little thing here or there, but they weren't doing anything like what Trump's doing. So the idea that Dems just gonna get in and do the same shit. No, Dems don't fuck with that. Lefties don't fuck with having every fucking aspect of their country, like, ripped apart and raped. They actually, I understand there's, like, this lie that, you know, oh, all lefties, all libs hate their own country, all woke people, or whatever, hate their own country and they hate everything about it. It's just not fucking true. Most, like, libs and lefties and woke people, like Hassan has way more respect for free speech than almost any of these fucking conservatives do. Like, they have the actual things that make up their fucking country and what have made their countries great for the last however many fucking hundreds of years. Those are the things that lefties and libs and shit like more than anyone. Conservatives fucking hate it all. Conservatives hate the constraints of a constitution. They fucking hate the rule of law. They fucking hate separation of powers. They fucking hate, you know, small government. They fucking hate economic growth. They fucking hate it all. They truly fucking despise it and they want to destroy it all and burn it all down. Nux more than anyone. Dirty, subversive Canadian that he is. You know? More than anyone, Nux wants to do this shit. And yet they will present this lie that everyone else fucking hates their country. And it's, like, totally absurd.
I don't care about your feelings. I don't care if you scream racism. You could scream racism from El Salvador. I don't care. This is evil. So anyway, here's just a little supercut of everyone's favorite Democrats, you know, lightly prodding people to be violent towards ICE agents.
This is Gestapo-like behavior. Plainclothes officers wearing masks.
So I was just joking. So I was joking just then about the whole, oh, well, calling an abortion doctor a murderer is like, it's like fascism inciting violence. And then, right after I say that, we play the video, and Nux is doing the talking point totally unironically. He's saying, oh my god, this guy's inciting violence against ICE by saying it's Gestapo-like. They are like secret police. They like hide their identities and aren't accountable when you get black bagged and thrown into a prison system where you don't get to contact anyone for ages and no lawyer can recourse, and they sometimes deport people before any court process could even play out, even when there's an existing court order to stop them. Like, yeah, it is kind of like that.
Are terrorizing immigrants.
The ICE issue.
Terrorizing immigrants. They're deporting invaders, as they should, for the record. As they literally should.
So, okay, so Nux, if they're just deporting invaders, can you please explain to me why the Trump admin was court-ordered and capitulated to bringing back Abrego Garcia? Please explain that one to me. Why your conservative Supreme Court decided they had to actually bring that guy back. Can you figure that one out? Just explain that to me, Nux. If these are all just invaders. They're just getting rid of invaders. It's a grift. It's a grift. He's just decided he's going to be, like, purely in on, like, bitterness and resentment and trying to have, like, gay people rounded up and, you know, because HoloLive or VShojo or whatever don't like him. That is it. That's this guy's psychology. It's didn't get to hang out with the cool kids, so now everyone has to die. That's basically it.
Oh, give me a break. These people are evil.
Is alarming beyond words. Masked men jumping out of unmarked cars, people disappearing, no due process.
No one's disappearing. There is due process. The due process is you are not legal in the country. Get the hell out. That's
you don't know what due process means if you're saying this. You just don't know what due process means. You either don't know or don't care. If you don't care what due process means, well, there's a word for that. There's a word for someone who doesn't care about due process, doesn't care about rule of law, has an ultra-nationalist framework that is exclusionary towards pretty much any other group that you've decided to scapegoat. You know, there's a word. There is a word that describes people like this, but apparently it's inciting violence, so I'll hold off on it. I won't use it.
The due process.
We're being hyperbolic. If you're a black and brown community, it's here. Wake
up. Dangers that we saw in Nazi Germany, especially in the earliest days of Nazi Germany, are the dangers that we need to react to now. They're taking people.
Apparently, he's not in Israel anymore. He stayed with family for a while.
Off the streets and sending them away. It's a 5-alarm fire, everyone.
When people talk like this, obviously it's going to organize the retards in society. You know, the retards are going to team up with the foreign invaders and the Islamists, and you have the unholy alliance of mentally ill, gay, trans Tifa.
Like, what did I say, guys? It's like the perfect combination of interest for him, right? It's like perfect. Everything aligns for him. Because right now he gets to be against all the gay trans people that didn't want to be friends with him a few years ago because he's a gay loser. You know, he gets to be against all those people. And he also gets to be against all the brown people. He gets to be against those annoying brown people who make his country look bad. He's got a family from there and they make his country look bad. They keep dying to these bombs and making his country look bad. Do you know what I mean? So he can be against both. He can be against both. It's like perfect combination of interests. Nothing could possibly be better. Nothing could land better for Nux right now. Nothing could send him into a bigger further.
Teaming up with invaders from foreign nations that don't want to leave. Is this not insane?
A single ICE agent who's engaged in this aggressive overreach and are trying to hide their identities from the American people will be unsuccessful in doing that. This is not the 1930s.
In other words, we need to get their info, and like these people are so disingenuous because there's another step here. Anytime the personal info of any of these ICE officers go out, their lives are literally at risk.
Dude,
I also think that law enforcement shouldn't be covering
should be
their
fucking
face.
public.
But there is a terrorist movement in the country that is directly supported.
There's a terrorist movement in America
by the Democrat establishment. Okay? Directly supported by the Democrat establishment, and they are defending these people and releasing them from prisons as they terrorize, harass, and firebomb ICE agents and dox them, harass their families. Like, you don't understand. Hassan Piker was telling his audience of tens of thousands of people, he was telling them to go threaten ICE agents, threaten their lives. It works. They'll quit if you threaten them enough. He said that to his audience. Do you understand what we're dealing with? We're actually dealing with a terrorist threat.
He didn't. Wait, that's not what he said. That's not what he said.
It was supposed to be predators versus aliens, not predators teaming up with aliens. The predators are the Democrats, obviously. They want to castrate your children.
How can you say this? How can you say this with a straight face when you've got posts like this on your subreddit? There are posts like this on your subreddit. Are NuxTaku's submissions? This is all from. Haha, joke's on you, I'm 13. Girl version of NuxTaku. When I was 11, now I'm 13. Hi, Pink Show, I'm Ross, I'm 13 years old, out of my head. I'm 13, I know all of them. I should start rethinking my life decisions. Like, you're an EPI channel. You're an EPI channel, and you're talking about predators. You are an EPI. You are probably responsible for more trans people than the entire Democratic Party. Let's be totally serious here. NuxTaku is probably single-handedly responsible for more transitions than the entire Democratic Party.
And every single one of them, no matter what it takes, no matter how long it takes, will of course be identified.
Donald Trump. EPI is early porn introduction. It's a like, I don't know, like, is it like a fetish or like what? It's like they're saying all these degenerates talk about where it's like about slipping porn stuff into kids media and shit.
Trump's modern day Gestapo.
It was part of the giggly goon clown, all that shit.
Is scooping folks up off the streets. They're in unmarked vans, wearing masks, being shipped off to foreign torture dungeons. No chance to mount a defense.
Do you understand how insane it is when you hear stuff like this? Like, dude, the average liberal guy that's in college and it's probably on some sort of antidepressants. All right, look, let me tell you about modern day college. You go in a boy, you come out a grown woman. That shit's crazy. Yeah, dude, it's a national security.
This is like a deranged cope from some fucking 75 IQ knuckle-dragging Canadian who didn't go to university, 100%.
Threat is the liberal establishment.
Not even a chance to kiss a loved one goodbye. Just grabbed up by masked agents, shoved into those vans, and disappeared.
Right, so then you hear this.
The last posts of that 12-year-old that was on his subreddit are in trans subreddits, apparently, according to Nicandros. So, I was spot on. I was spot on.
From like this guy, you know, he was supposed to be the vice president of the United States under Kamala Harris. So you hear that from him and, you know, you believe him. You actually believe him. Shipped off without due process to foreign torture dungeons. That sounds crazy. That sounds insane.
Yeah, that happened.
You know, Trump dodged a bullet and so did the country.
We need to make sure that they're...
What do you mean? That happened. That did happen. That literally happened.
Old Testament style justice. That is...
Okay, let's see what he's saying here.
He was arrested so many times they knew who he was. They knew exactly where to go get him. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic that I'm here today. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, he's completely right. Now, to be clear, I have always advocated for Old Testament style justice. That is what I firmly believe in, and with every fiber in my being, I really do. I think you take the Old Testament, you make that...
So, under the Old Testament, what would we do with someone who shows porn to children? In the Old Testament, what do you think the punishment would be for someone that showed porn to thousands of children? That made money off of showing porn to thousands of children? What do you think we would do to someone like that in the Old Testament? Bear in mind, a lot of this was gay porn. Some of this was gay porn. I feel like that's important to note. I believe, anyway. I think there was Boku no Pico, right? Am I crazy? There was definitely bestiality. I know that's not allowed in the Bible. That's not allowed in the Bible. There was bestiality. That's for sure. I'm not sure on the gay porn. I'm like second guessing myself on gay porn. I'm not 100% on that. I think it might have just been PewDiePie. Yeah, what would you do with a lolly consumer who broke his country's laws since he believes in the law of the land? Very true, very true. I just wonder, what would we do in the Old Testament with Nux? With a guy like Nux, what would you do in the Old Testament?
That the Constitution, and we will have a much safer society. I'll be honest. Now, I know people are going to say, oh, but what about this one random verse out of I don't care. Okay, I don't care. This wouldn't happen. This would not happen. Okay, sorry. So, again, that's just the Nux opinion.
Yeah, see, guys, Old Testament style justice works perfectly. That's why when you look at religious fundamentalist countries, they all have such low crime rates, you know? They're all just such functional societies. Yeah, whenever you go look at religious theocracies around the world, and they are beacons of civility and peace and, you know, quality of life. Yeah, just like pick one. Pick any religious theocracy anywhere in the world, and you know, it's basically a utopia. It's basically utopia.
Which is obviously definitely radical to some people, but anyway, you have the right to disagree. You have the right to disagree. That's right, you do. Now, this gets worse. Because this is someone talking about Frederico Logan, about her death. And this is her talking to him. Alright, this is her directly...
Okay, how long have I done with the Nux stuff? How long have we been going here? Do I need to pad any more out? Or we pretty much... Yeah, we've done like an hour. We did like an hour of Nux there, right? I think it's a good segment. Well, I need more track. I've run out of track. If you know what I mean. Like, I'm like Gromit in the wrong trousers. I'm like Gromit in the wrong trousers where he's throwing down the track in front of him. Do you know what I mean? I need more track. I've run out of track for the Nux segment. So if anyone's got a Nux point that I need to bring up or look at, then point me in that direction. I could probably find something. Okay, let's sit here and wait for Gamma to find the next tweet for this segment. Yeah, I'm not gonna... What's this? Look at this guy, man. Look at this fat fucking loser.
Hello, Nux!
Dude.
Hello.
You know this guy ugly as hell. Look at those chubby ass hands, man. Look at those chubby ass hands.
Hello, Nux!
Can I get a sort of like a height comparison?
Me. And I was like, oh my god.
This guy is literally, you can tell he's old as fuck. He's fat and old, dude. He's like fat and old. And he uses like a twink avatar. Isn't that crazy? I mean, it's not crazy. Like, obviously, that's quite common, I imagine. Lots of fat women probably use like lolly avatars. But Nux, I mean, I know that's the case because I know Rev Says Desu's fat wife uses a fucking lolly avatar and pretends to be a fucking lolly or whatever on the internet. But Nux especially, this is especially embarrassing, I fear. This is especially embarrassing. Yeah, the Sargon build, for real. The Sargon build, he feels the suit the same as well. It's like it's the same look on the suit. I can't really get a good height analysis. I don't know how tall Anthony Padilla is, and it's hard to tell where his head ends. I realize it's kind of tough. Okay, we've got another clip coming in. What's this one?
Messing around. Trump gave them...
Anyone want to know who Nux is? Kuihman banned in an hour ago.
What do you? What does that mean? Oh, is that you saying parry? Okay, I don't. Oh, you're saying because the same body type, right? I got it. Thank you for the $5, Jim Bully.
The order told them different. Now, the ICE agents, as you can see, are no longer messing around. Trump gave them the order, told them to arrest everybody that's a terrorist, and they're not chill anymore. So this went super viral, and it's a very divisive video because a lot of people on the right, actually, a lot of people on the right are defending the ICE officer, and everybody on the left is defending the poor innocent victim of the wrath of this savage, brutal ICE officer. So I'm going to show you this video, and you'll let me know what you think. You'll let me know what you think about this video.
What's up? Phone me again. Step back. Step back. I'm on a public.
He's not doing anything. You're saying that. He's not doing anything. He's not doing anything.
Over there.
I'm gonna stand right here. He's not doing anything. I'm gonna stand right here. He's not doing anything.
Not doing anything. Not doing anything. So anyway, the crazy news here is this is a very divisive video. So I'll tell you my opinion first. My opinion is this person's mom had Tylenol while this person was pregnant. Like that's the first thing. His mom had Tylenol while she was pregnant. That's
it's just like the most cynical use. Like he will never stand on it and say Tylenol does cause autism because he knows it would be retarded. He knows it would be a fucking stupid thing to say. He's too, like, embarrassed and ashamed of his intelligence, or like, lack thereof, to ever, like, stake a claim on something descriptive like that. Much like Nick DeOrio, actually. There is a little bit of similarity in them, in that way. But he would never actually stake the descriptive claim, so he just does this, like, gay referencing to it, where it's like, oh, I could mean it, but I could not. It's, like, so embarrassing, dude, truly.
Second, and I think this is even more important, this dude is standing here with his hand in his pants. This looks like he's pulling out a gun. So the left is defending him because he's not doing anything. He's playing the I'm not touching you, I'm not touching you, I'm not touching you. But from the perspective of this ICE officer, here you have a threatening guy that's not following orders from a federal agent with his hand very likely reaching for a gun. So they dropped the motherfucker, and I support it completely. And in fact, I'm going to go even a step further. If you are part of Antifa, you are a designated terrorist. I don't even think you need that extra bar. I really...
What does it... Dude, it's like so crazy. They've literally tricked themselves into thinking... They've totally... People gave too much credit to this idea that Antifa is an organization. There are chapters. There are like a few people maybe in like a town that are part of Antifa. When Antifa go to protest something, it's not like the organization shows up. There are a few people who are... So like in communication would be like a chapter. And then they put out adverts, they put out posters saying, show up at this protest, put out Telegram posts or whatever. Show up at this protest, you know, this far-right protest here or whatever it is. We need to go and be anti-fascist. And it's people who aren't part of any group, take a day and go and counter-protest. That's how it works. It's not, they're not all in a group, always working together as like a fucking unit. That's not how this shit works. I just don't... They've tricked themselves into thinking it's like... Yeah, they think it's like a super villain organization, like a traditional terrorist org, or like even like the Proud Boys or something. It's not. It's just not. It doesn't have the same structure at all. And it's just like so baffling that they've actually bought their own bullshit on this. I mean, I obviously don't think Nux has. He'll say fucking anything. But it's so fucking baffling. It's just so baffling.
Really don't. I think you should stay home and not get involved in, you know, inhibiting law enforcement from doing their job. All right, everyone's telling me to look up this Nick Sortor, Tommy guy situation. Nick Sortor. Apparently, Nick Sortor is a journalist, and apparently he was attacked. Oh, wait, this just happened an hour ago. Oh my God, this just happened.
Yeah, Nick Sortor's a journalist. Isn't that guy the InfoWars guy? The InfoWars JQ guy. Great stuff, man. Awesome stuff.